Well, guys, this is the coup de grace. This is the key. Now, I relocated from the United States of America 5 years ago. Okay, it's gonna be 5 years this October, and so that's just the deal. Now let's get to this. Okay, this is the NET, and I did promise you that I was gonna get the NET Bible up and running for you guys, according to Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 18. Okay, so let's read this in its entirety. He, meaning Christ, he is the image of the invisible God, invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. Let's just stop there for a while, okay? Now there's the few genitives here, okay? Invisible God. Invisible, I think that's aratas, so that's in the genitive. The word for God, that's in the genitive. And the word over all creation, I think the word creation is in the genitive also. I got to look at that again. So you got a lot of genitives here. Let's go to the next verse. For all things, tapanta in the Greek with an alpha, all things, tapanta, in heaven and on earth, okay, were created, okay, by him, by logos, all things, whether visible aratas or invisible aratas, whether thrones, thronas, or principalities, or powers, authorities, all things, tapanta, were created. And then the word for created is not poieo. It's another Greek word. It begins with a kappa and a tau. Were created, okay, through him and for him. Okay, let's get the other slide here. Verse 17. This was our principal verse yesterday. He himself, that's like an adjectival intensive, right? He himself is before, okay, all right, all things. Tapanta again. And then it says, all things, it says over here. And all things, tapanta, again. Okay, there's no word for other here. Okay, so the Jehovah's Witnesses are lying. All things, tapanta, are held, okay, together in him. Okay, everything is held together in him. So if he takes off his hand, okay, all things fall apart. Literally, all things fall apart. That goes for anything made by man or whatever the case may be. He takes off his hand, a building will fall down. He takes off a hand, a space shuttle goes down. Two of them went down. Is that what I'm saying? One going up and one coming back to Earth. Went down. So and that's just a little piece of history. Just anything will collapse if he withdraws his hand. Okay, is that clear? He's in control of everything. He is the head. He is the head of the body. Greek word soma there, a little bit more, of the body. The church, ecclesia, as well as the beginning, Greek word arche, the firstborn, pratatakan, from among the dead, so that, and that's dead ones, necron, to necron in the Greek over there, so that he, meaning Christ himself, may, okay, become, and that's probably a subjunctive, that's why they use the word may become first in all things, or first place, as another translation of the Bible. Okay, is that clear? So, my main complaints of Jehovah's Witness, so-called witnesses, because listen, they're not witnessing for Jehovah. I mean, they're Yahweh. I mean, it's please. They're not. They're not witnessing for him. Now, listen, anybody could say they're witnessing for anybody. I could say I'm a representative of the president of the United States. But does that make me, okay, what I claim to be? No, because I don't have the credentials. I don't have the. I never applied for the job. I never applied for the job of being an ambassador or something like that for the sitting president. You understand what I'm saying? Or any president that came before or after, or that's going to come after. You understand what I'm saying? I can say I'm anything I want. I can say I'm that door over there, that I put that weighs like 300 pounds. My goodness gracious. And they had to shave it a little bit, and thank God they did because, when I put tiles on the floor, God willing, that's ample enough space there, so I forget my English, here in the Philippines, you understand what I'm saying? I can say I'm the tree. I can say I'm a window. I'm a window. You understand what I'm saying? Open up my mouth and you open up the shades. You understand what I'm saying? Come on, man. So stop the nonsense. He is, let me get the picture again of verse 15, okay? He is a copy of God. Does it say it? No. He, meaning Christ, the Greek word has. He, a relative pronoun in the singular nominative construction, referring to Son, I believe around 2 verses before this verse, okay? You understand? The word Son is there. He is, that's the antecedent, the word Son, I believe. You understand what I'm saying? Like there was the antecedent of has, okay, in verse 15 before verse 16 of First Timothy chapter 3. He is the image. He is the image. It's not that he was created in the image of God like we were. We already, listen, we already went through the Greek Septuagint. Okay, and verse 26, oh no, is it verse 26 of chapter 1 of Genesis, you understand? We went through that. Let us create man, not I say in Hebrew. Let us create, well, man is, not I say Adam, okay? So Adam is man in Hebrew, or Ish, but Adam is there. Let us create man, not I say Adam. Not I say means let us create, or let us make, you understand what I'm saying? From the Hebrew word asa, which means to make, you understand? That's just a deal. The other one's bara, Bereshit bara Elohim, bara, you don't want to Bara like that, That's just so bara and asa means to make, right? It can mean to create, You understand? And so the deal is that let us make man in our own image. Now I say Adam, and then the Greek comes along and says in the Greek Septuagint, thousands of years after, in the 2nd century, whatever the case may be, AD, BC, right? Give or take a couple of decades. Okay, that's what I mean. Then it comes to say that poiesomen. I think it says like kai apen, and the Hebrew is wa amer, like that, and said, okay, God, Elohim in Hebrew, hatheos in Greek, in the Greek Septuagint, poiesomen. We saw that the sigma is showcasing the aorist tense there, not subjunctive, and also the omega is showcasing the subjunctive in that Greek word from poieo. Okay, poieso men. The men is the primary active personal ending. Let me get to that since I'm talking about that. Okay. All right. I hope I have it here recorded. Now this is the deal. Do I have the box? Yes. Okay. Now the master personal ending chart, okay, has 4 boxes. Okay, it's like one giant square, but it is divided into 4 sections. Okay. You have, okay, the primary active and primary passive personal endings on the left-hand side, okay, up and down. And then you have the secondary, okay, not primary, but the secondary personal endings on the right-hand side of of this chart, okay, up and down, like that. You understand what I'm saying? So you got the primary on the left-hand side, personal endings, active and passive in different boxes. And then you have your secondary personal endings on the right hand side, in the upper right hand box. You have your secondary active personal endings, and on the bottom side of the right hand bottom corner, you have your secondary passive personal endings. Okay, so these four boxes has to do with personal endings. And what do you mean by personal endings? Well, I mean personal endings. Okay, personal, first, second, and third person. First person means I. Second person means you. Okay, all right. And then third person means he, she, or it. So those are personal endings. Okay. Now, not all Greek words have personal endings. Okay, but some of them do, and the one that we're going to be looking at has to do with the Greek word poiesomen. Now, what is poiesomen? Now, well, I told you that the men tells you that is in the plural, and now in the plural, in the first person plural. So when one of the members of the Trinity was given an exhortation, okay, at least according to the Greek, you understand, it was translated poiesomen from naase. And so those Greek scholars, being Hebrew, translated naase into poiesomen. That's the word they wanted to use. Okay, fine, pretty good choice, because okay, the same construction is found and recorded. You hear that horn? It's like the Flintstones, like when it's time to go to work and try to get out. And so they put that recently around the neighborhood so people could know it's time to go to work, or it's time for lunch, or it's time to go home. So it reminds me of the Flintstones. You know what I'm saying? You never do it. He gets off the dinosaur and he goes gets lunch or whatever. Mr. Slate, it's just a deal. But anyway, getting back to this. So the men there, okay, and let's look at it though. I want to look at it, and then I want to go back to the box, and I want to take a picture of it so I could go back and forth. Okay, that's what I really want to do, so I don't have to do this. So it just wastes, time. I should be there anyway in chapter 1. Okay, so I have that's the new picture over there, and I'll just take out the highlight. And so that's just the deal. All right, so let's look at the Greek word that's found and recorded in Mark chapter, not only in Mark though, but probably in Luke's gospel, probably in Matthew's gospel, maybe it's there also. I have to check that out. In chapter 17, chapter 9 in Luke, same story is recorded, I believe, right? But poiesomen is definitely in Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, verse 5, where Peter said to Jesus, if he was speaking Greek, or at least it was given to us by way of Greek anyway. Poiesomen, let us make. He was talking to Jesus. Poiesomen, let us make, 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Okay, now the same Greek word there, poiesomen, in the aorist subjunctive, is here. Okay, it's the same one. Now I wanted to see one in the Greek in the New Testament, and when I came across the story, I said, I ran to the app and I said, well, it has to be, let us make. It has to be the same sort of thing, because that's what it means. Let us make is the same thing, and it is. It's the same construction. You understand what I'm saying? Now, over here it says in verse 26, kai apen ha theas, poiesomen. Now, this is the deal. Poiesomen is from the Greek word poieo, which is an epsilon contract verb, okay? Now, you can see the contract, you can see the letter, in the lexicon, that's why they put it poieo, So when it comes together with a personal ending, this is the problem. When it comes together with a personal ending and with the connecting vowel before the personal ending, the epsilon and the omicron is going to turn to something else. So you're gonna, I think it's poiumen. I think that's something like that. I have to go back to my list there, but so that's why I call it contract, because it comes together. And then it sort of, it doesn't blend, but it collides together, and then it changes. It changes into something else. You understand what I mean? But be that as it may, poieo is behind this Greek word over here, but this is poiesomen. Now, what this is not okay, an indicative. This is not, in the beginning, God created, okay, the heavens and the earth, and that goes something like, let me see, NRK, let me do it by memory. NRK, epoias and hateas tan uranan in the singular. I mean, that's just strange enough, because the Hebrews in the plural, tan uranan kai tain gain, all in the accusative, all of those things that were created. Even the articles are in the accusative case, singular. You understand what I'm saying? All right, tan and tain. So what I'm trying to say is, this word "let us make," okay, has a personal ending. Okay, and what is the personal ending? Well, what is the first of all? What is the other clues? What are the clues that this is a subjunctive? Well, the main clue is the omega. The omega before the mu, nowadays pronounced me, is the main vein. Now, sometimes is not omega, is eta. Sometimes eta will, like in the word maybe. Okay, strictly that's an eta there, and I think with a Neota subscript, right, it might be like that. The word for maybe, the eta is showcasing the subjunctive, but in this particular word, the omega is the subjunctive morpheme. All of these Greek words, whether noun or verbs, have morphemes, have forms. Everything is a form. A personal ending is a form. A connecting vowel, okay, if it has a connecting vowel, right, is a form. A tense formative is a form, and the tense formative right here, okay, you understand what I'm saying? Is a sigma, and that's showcasing the aorist tense, and this is what over here. So when you see in your Greek interlinear, especially in your apps, on your phone, that something is ASA or something like that or whatever, right? Then you know that they got that because they looked at the clues in the word, and they came up with the conclusion that because of the sigma this is an aorist, because of the omega this is a subjunctive, like that. You understand what I mean? So and because of the man is active, so you have all those, ASA, or if you're looking at a PPA, present participle active, I call it PPA, oh, you're seeing a new towel someplace, okay, or if you're not seeing it, it was there anyway, the own, you know what I mean? So PPA, present participle active, you see, participle because of the own, or participle because of the new towel, or whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? So you're looking at clues in a Greek word to come up with your designation of these things. Okay, no pun intended. The designation has to do with nouns and stuff like that. So I mean, if you have hateas, you're looking at a vocative or the subject of the the subject of the verb, right? For God so loved the world. Okay, hateas. So that's an nominative. That's the subject nominative there. Okay, so you're looking at the case ending to let you know if that's a nominative or not. Okay, so you're looking at letters, specific letters that you're trained to see. And when you're talking to a JW, okay, they understand that it says, okay, us. That we don't have any problem with the JW telling us, and no, it doesn't say us, because it does say us. Now, asem means let us make. Okay, in the Greek, poiesomen, right over here, means let us make. That's what it means. They can't argue with that. They can't argue with that. The thing that they're arguing with is that it means the plurality of majesty, But the Greek the Greek the Greek word or the Hebrew word that means king is nowhere found and recorded in none of these chapters, either chapter 1, chapter 3, or chapter 11 of Genesis. You understand what I'm saying? There's no king here. Okay, so And this is the foundation of the Bible. So it's a good place to put your plural, pronoun for yourself. Okay, if you're God, because it's the foundation of this is the foundation of the Bible. Now you don't have to keep on doing it. If you listen, if you have a foundation of the house, okay, you don't have to keep on building a foundation. The second floor is not a foundation, and the third floor is not a foundation. And I mean, it's not a foundation; it's a foundation of that specific floor. But it's not the foundation of the whole building. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, you have your foundation, you lay it out and stuff like that. You don't have to keep on laying, It's just like the apostles. The apostles and the prophets are the foundation. Okay, you don't have to keep on, and we're built upon that. But what's built upon that is not further foundations. You have one foundation and one chief cornerstone, okay, Christ himself. So in Greek, it's the same thing. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so that's just a deal. Now, let's look at this further. And let me actually blow up the print like this, though. Okay, so let me just, this is just a deal. All right, now let's look at the personal ending here. Okay, forget about everything else. Forget about the aorist tense of formative sigma, and then the epsilon changing into eta, and then the omega showcasing the subjunctive. Forget about the subjunctive for now. Let's just strictly look at the end. Okay, the end, the personal ending. Okay, because this has a personal ending. So what is the personal ending? The personal ending is, okay, men. Men. Okay, that's the personal ending. Men. M-E-N. Forget about what it means in English. We're not talking about that. It doesn't mean men like a group of men. You understand what I'm saying? No. Men is a personal ending. It's in the first person plural. Men. It means us. Men means us. So the us in poieso men, let us make, is encapsulated in the personal ending. You understand? So let's go to the chart. Now, why do I have this like this, though? What happened here? Sometimes I close my eyes, and I don't know that the phone did something. And this phone is held together with spit and glue. I mean, that's just a deal. All right, now, so let's go to the personal ending. Okay? Now, the personal ending. Now, remember I said that, your master personal ending chart has 4 boxes. And in each box, okay, it contains specific personal endings, either in the active, primary active or secondary active, or in the passive, primary passive or secondary passive. You understand what I'm saying? And I already told you that the left-hand side boxes contains, okay, primary, okay, and secondary, or no, I'm sorry, primary, active and passive personal endings. And the right-hand side boxes contain secondary active and secondary passive personal endings. I mean, that's hard to spit out. I'll tell you that right now. Look at the arrow, or look at the lines, okay, designating one of those or targeting one of those boxes. Now we're looking at the upper left-hand box, and what is that all about? This. Now, doesn't this look familiar? One of them, one of these personal endings, okay, is the final part or the final morpheme or the final form of poieso men, let us make in Greek. Okay, let's look at them. Now, let's look at the Greek word luo right over here. Okay, all right. So let's read them. Okay, luo, lues, lue, luamen, luete, luusi. Okay, with a new optional, I call it. Okay, it's just like Eston. It says optional. I call it new optional. People call it new movable. Okay, it's just like the secondary active, third person. You have it could be a new and like that. It could be a new and maybe not. Okay, that's just the deal. Now, But what are the personal endings? Well, some people teach it like this. Okay, nothing, sigma, iota, men. There you go. That's our personal ending that we're looking at. Te, unsi. And why is it unsi? Well, the deal is because that's the original personal endings, and then the deal is that in the verb itself, you're gonna see luusi or luusin, and it's just like the my side Thai business that sometimes you don't see sai in the second second person singular. You don't see sai, you see a. And I think, okay, I'm not sure about this, but I think it's because they didn't want to confuse the psi of the passive with the psi in the infinitive. They didn't want to confuse you between those two. An infinitive morpheme psi, and then your personal ending psi. So they put a, and that might be the reason. That might be the reason. Okay. Because you have psi over here and psi over there. It's kind of confusing. It's confusing anyway sometimes. Sometimes you can't avoid it. It's going to be same structures for different things. You know? Same strokes for different folks. Sometimes you have to change it like that a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing, sigma, iota. Okay, so the personal ending is nothing, even though the omega is there. And then sigma is your personal ending for the second person singular, and then iota is your third person singular personal ending, and then you have men. Okay, is your first person plural personal ending, men, and we see that in our primary what that we're studying for now anyway, and then luete. Okay, because of the acute marker. Te is the personal ending there, but that's kind of confusing sometimes, like I said before, because you have to deal with te sometimes as an imperative morpheme. So you're just gonna have to look at the context and stuff like that and see. I mean, if somebody giving a command, or is somebody, is somebody being addressed? You know what I'm saying? So. All right, now, and then you have your luusi or your luusin from umsi. That's the personal ending. Do I have this highlighted? Sorry about that. I had to highlight it, so I had it a little darker than it should have been. But so these are your personal endings, and so you have to know these personal. I mean, you have to know the master personal ending chart. You have, and let me show you a little bit more of them. Okay, the bottom left hand corner box has to do. Now remember that the upper, okay, box, all right, had to do, okay, with the primary active personal endings. Nothing, sigma, iota, mente, unsi. Okay, it had to do with that. Now you have your other box. Okay, you understand? Your primary passive personal ending side of the chart. Okay, now in that box is contained, okay, your personal endings that have to do with the primary passive. My, psi, tai, metha, the, umtai. Okay? And so this side of the paradigm, my side tai, has to do with singular passive personal endings. And then the bottom three has to do with plural. Have to do with your plural, okay, personal endings of meta, first person plural, ste second person plural, and untai third person plural. And then the my is first person singular. Psi, and you're gonna see a sometimes, is your second person plural, singular, and then your tai is your third person singular. You understand what I'm saying? My side tai, that's a the untai. You understand? Now let me see what's that all about. Well, let me just do that. I don't want to cancel it because the thing is I might need it later. Okay, you understand? Okay, so let me just concentrate on those, our primary and the primary side, because I don't want to give you too much. So let's go back to this though. Okay, now it says over here, kai apen ha theas poiesomen. Now that we established that one of the members of the Trinity is speaking, I don't know who it was. Was it Logos? Was it the Holy Spirit? Was it who we now know as the Father? Okay, who was speaking? We don't know. We don't know who was speaking. Listen. We don't know who was given an exhortation, not a command, by the way. And if it was a command, so what? There are imperatives, like I said before in my last study, or the first one in the Lord's Prayer. Okay, all the way through. And Jesus commanded the Father in verse 5 of chapter 17 of John's Gospel. Not with a nonchalant or cavalier or bad attitude, but that's an imperative right there. And the Father glorified me with the same glory that I had with you before the foundation of the world. I mean, that's an imperative. That's a command. Jesus is commanding the Father to give him the glory. You understand what I'm saying? And we could command the Father. I mean, we call it, imperative of entreaty, but it's a command. It's a command. I mean, I'm just saying. Let us enter into the throne throne boldly, it says. Boldly, not with a sexy attitude, sexy and sassy. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, listen, my son could come to me if he can. I mean, he's only 1 year old. But if he was, let's say, in speaking age, okay? He's like 1 month, 1 year and 1 month, so he can't talk now. But let's see, when he comes to an age that he can speak, and if I promise him to do something, well, he can come to me like my stepson comes to me and says, you promised me that I can watch TV. Let me watch TV. Okay? I turn on the TV. And then I say, why? Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Okay, oh, I promise. Okay, boom. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's so sort of like that. It has to do with the counsels of God. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, they had a counsel. You understand? And then Jesus teaches us to have counsels. You understand what I mean? Caesarean council. Then we have the council of Nicaea, Chalcedon. All these councils because of mimicking what Jesus did in Caesarea. You know what I mean? So that's just a deal. No. So now, because we established that the man is a personal ending, you understand? The personal endings, it means us. Now we establish that one of the Trinity members is speaking. Okay. Well, we just keep on looking at it. Okay. Nature-wise. Kai apen hafeas poiesomen anthropan gat icona, actually, icona. Let us make man in our what? Image. Not images, like I said before. You see? Image. One image is one image. It's not a whole bunch of images and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? You see? And then we looked at Revelation chapter 6, verse 16, that it talks about prosopan, the face God has to do with the Father and the Son over there. I mean, listen, in Revelation chapter 6, verse 16, it talks about one face. Okay? One image or one face. It's not icon, it's prosopan, I understand. Probably panim in the Hebrew New Testament over there recorded. Panim, that's the normal word for, tagged by 6440, if I can recall, Strong's number of index, Strong's, not the GK, but the Strong's. This is kind of easy to remember, 6440. It means person, or face for faces, It's panim. It's a plural word. Panim, you understand what I'm saying? The mem is making that in the plural right over there. But so I expect another construction in the Hebrew New Testament side of things. Okay, same construction found and recorded, I believe, in verse 8 of chapter 13 of Job. which with the mem is not there. It's not like echadim is something else, in the singular or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And that might be talking about the face of God, right there. Panim found and recorded in verse 8 of chapter 13 of Job's. I was gonna say of Job's gospel. Okay, is that what I mean? No, just to tell. No, let's just read it again. All right, kai apen haveas, poiesomen anthropan kat icona or icona. Is that clear? One image. That's what it means. So when we go back to, okay, now let me see what's the deal over here. That's just it. Let's just take it out altogether. When you go to, let me see if the highlight is there. The highlight is there. When you go to, okay, verse 15 again and read it with that emphasis of the Trinity, you understand what I'm saying? He is the image of the, okay, all right, Aratas, the invisible God, okay, firstborn, okay, the firstborn over all creation. You see, of all creation. It doesn't say that he was created first, okay. He's the firstborn over all creation. It doesn't mean he's the first one born, one made. It doesn't say made there. It's the first one born. But when you go to verse 18 of this chapter, you see the answer right here. See, the witnesses don't want you to see verse 18. They just give you verse 15, just like they give you Ezekiel 4, and they give you Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10, and all these isolated passages of scripture, and they quote them like parrots. You understand what I'm saying? Whole bunch of crackers at the tower. You understand what I'm saying? Just parroting the same stuff. Just saying. That's just the deal. All right, let me see here. All right. Verse 18 says something like this. For God was, let me see. No, that's verse 19. It says over here, he is, okay, that's probably Altas. He is the head, kephale. He is the head of the body, Okay, the church, as well as the beginning, the firstborn from among the dead, or the dead ones. You understand what I'm saying? So that he, meaning Christ himself, may, it says over here, become first in all things. You understand what I'm saying? So the answer that Walter Martin was saying was correct. It just wasn't placed properly. Okay? He didn't give us verse 18. He gave us Genesis chapter 41, verses 51 and 52, alongside of Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 9, but that's not complete. He's the firstborn because he's the first one born from among the dead ones. Not that he has the preemptive rights. That's in the secondary. That's like it's just like our chart. Okay, the primary, primary active. It doesn't have to do with the language. It doesn't just give you an example of primary and secondary. The primary answers, because I'm stealing, what we should do with the witnesses, okay, from the primary active and primary secondary active chart. Not linguistically, I'm not talking about that, even though we can do that, but I'm talking apart from that. That, like, for example, when I was speaking about Matthew chapter 24, okay, I gave you primary, and I stole it from the chart. The idea, the concept. You understand what I mean? Primary signs of Jesus' return. Sun being dark and moon not giving forth the light of the sun and stuff like that. The preaching of the gospel all throughout the world, and then the end will come. Those are primary signs, and you have some other ones in Luke, along with the primary signs in Matthew and Mark. You understand what I'm saying? Chapter 24 and 13, respectively. But there are secondary signs. So I kind of stole that from the chart, the idea of primary and secondary. You know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is that according to the answer that we have to, the answer that we have to give to the witnesses or anybody else that doesn't believe, okay, in the deity of Christ, we have to give them the primary answer, okay, Colossians chapter 1 verse 18. He's the first one born from the dead. And we saw that verse 52 and 53 of Matthew chapter 27 spoke about, okay, those that were resurrected meta after his resurrection. So in the New Testament time period, okay, he was the first one resurrected. No, I mean Lazarus. They're gonna throw Lazarus on our laps, okay, and say, well, he was resurrected before Jesus. Yeah, but not after the cross and his and resurrection, anastasis. Lazarus was resurrected, and all of those people that were resurrected in the Old Testament. I mean, uh, the young lad in Second Kings chapter 4 or whatever it is. He said, my head," and he died. So he was resurrected from the dead. So they were resurrected from the dead before Jesus, but they don't qualify as the firstborn because there was no crucifixion at the time. There was no resurrection of Jesus at the time, and it says in the New Testament that Jesus is the firstborn. So you have to say that Jesus is the firstborn because after the cross and resurrection of Jesus, he was the first one resurrected first before the crop of believers that were resurrected meta after him. And I mean, the royal passage of scripture, like I said before, is Matthew chapter 27, verses 52 and 53. Let's look at that again. That's very key to understand. But you have the primary answer to steal, sort of the method of the master verb ending chart like that. Just forget about it for now, the master verb ending chart. It's like I'm scuba diving. Forget about that for now. Just let's borrow the words primary and secondary just for a second and use it for something completely different. Okay, the primary answer, okay, is found and recorded in verse 18 of chapter 1 of Colossians, and then the secondary answer is found and recorded in Genesis chapter 41 verses 51 and 52. And Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 9. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, we're just borrowing the terms. Okay, forget about the Greek for now. We're just borrowing the terms. So I want to say, like we did, use those terms in Matthew chapter 24. All right. Okay. Before I do that, let me go to because I did say that Mark's gospel, okay, all right, has okay, eche, right, has what a chi, has our verb form. So let's check it out. Remember the Greek Septuagint, okay, has poiesomen. Well, now is there a verse in the New Testament that has that also? Yeah, several. But we'll check this out here. Let me see over here. Mark's Gospel, chapter 9. You understand? Okay, so chapter 9, verse 5. I hope I'm right. I think it was like that. So let's see. It says over here, yeah, Peter, right off the bat. Peter said to Jesus, okay, to Yesu, probably in the Greek, right? Rabbi, it is good, Peter says, it is good for us, okay, to be here. Let us make, you see that? You see, let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, and one for Moses, or Moshe in the Hebrew, and one for Elijah. You see, that's it right there. But what about the Greek? Petra, so subject nominative right there. Not even an article that's definite. You see what I'm talking about? This idea that John 1:1c contains a word that's indefinite because there's no article. Come on, man. It's 10 different ways that a Greek noun can be definite without the article. And this is one of the situations right here. Just so the witnesses. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if you go all the way, okay, back to, and it'll take some work to do this, okay? But if you go all the way back to Alpha, chapter 1, Well, you see Biblos right off the. Oh, you see. Let me see. Oh, this is Mark anyway. So no, but if you go to Matthew, let me go to Matthew. Mark doesn't have that, I don't think. It has that someplace, but it's Matthew. Let me see. What does it have over here? 24, because I was studying. You see, remember, like I told you before, I was studying Kappa Delta of 24. So I'm just going through the trouble for you guys, Alpha. Okay, look at another place where Biblos is where a word is definite and no article. There's no ha here before Biblos. There's no ha. And I looked at the most ancient authorities best based app also, and it's no ha. I'm not saying that no manuscripts has a ha before Biblos here in Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1, but it doesn't have it here, and it's still definite. You see, that's what I'm trying to say. So let's go to Mark very quickly, and then let's go back to chapter 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so that's just it. So this is 4. So you see that Petros is there in verse 4, strangely enough, you see. Okay, so let me see what the deal is going on here. Erchetai. Erchetai. Erchamai, that's passive. That's passive from form and active in meaning. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Well, this is John's gospel. I just looked at it just now. Sorry about that, guys. I just looked at it now. But as erchomai, that's active probably, even though it has what was it, tai or my, whatever the case it was. All right, so Mark, okay, chapter 9. Let's go back over there. Okay. And let's go to verse 4 and 5 because it's blended together. You understand? I don't want to edit. I just want to keep it like this, I just want to keep it like that. You see, there's four right there. And so Peter is here someplace, right? Let's go Petras. Petras lege. Okay, and so lege is from the Lego paradigm. Lego, leges, lege, legamen, legate, legusi. In the, excuse me, in the present. And this is present also. Petros lege said to Jesus, "Esto Yesu," same construction for the genitive and the dative for Jesus' name in Greek. Okay. 5. Rabbi. Okay. Good. Okay. Kalan is an estin. And this is we, and that's Hamas from the Hamas paradigm. Hamas, Hamon, Hamin, Hamas as a first person plural personal pronoun, no gender, just strictly a number and case. Jode, Enai. And then it says Kai. This is our word right here. And skenas is tabernacles, as in the plural, the alpha and sigma. And that's accusative right there. Skenas. Eskenosin is the verb form, and he tabernacled among us, and we beheld as glory. But this is a noun. Let us make, tabernacles, and 3 is after that, tres, or tres, or thrice, or whatever you want to call it. Let's concentrate on this. But I have to go like this. Now, Poesomen is here. Let me not blow it up because you can't see the whole thing. But you'll be able to see it okay, though. You guys, okay? It's just like the witnesses. They say, well, you guys, you Trinitarians, So we have to deal with that in debates, DCDs, debates, campaigns, and discussions between us and those dear people. Poesomen, see? Poesomen skene tres, okay, soy. And that's for you. because it could be translated like that also. Okay, not to you, but for. Okay, me on one, also one for also for Moses. Okay, one for you, one for Moses. The soy is for you. Okay, one for you. Okay, one me on also. The Greek word kai, you can translate it to also over here, I believe, and Mose, and one me on. Okay, kai uh, Elia, Elia. You know the subscript right over there. You understand what I'm saying? Mian. There you go. Mian, mian, mian. You understand what I'm saying? All right. It says over here, poesomen. It's the it's the synchronization. You see? So did Peter say, let us or not? Let us make, as a matter of fact. Did he say it? Yes or no? He did. So we have a construction, and you can look at the other accounts in the Synoptic Gospels, okay, because they're recorded, I believe, in like chapter 17 of Matthew and then chapter 9, I believe, of Luke. So we can check those out in the future. That'll be a verb. That'll be, no, not a verb, but a noun in the future, right? We have a supply of ammunition for the witnesses. That's what spiritually speaking. You understand what I'm saying? Poeso man is in the New Testament. You see? So we don't have to run from any confrontation, and we're properly armed, spiritually speaking. Poeso men. This is the same construction. Look at it right there. It's in the middle of the phone. P, Omicron, nowadays called Omicron. Iota, and then Eta, nowadays called Eta with the cube marker. Sigma, and that means to synchronize, by the way. That's a tense formative there for the aorist tense right there. And then Omega, you understand. Okay, you don't need the alpha there because you have the Omega. You know, so you don't say, sa, oh, man. I mean, that's just too much. You have the omega there for the subjunctive morpheme to tell you that this is a subjunctive, you understand? And the personal ending men, the primary personal ending men, from the master personal ending chart. And then the men is a first person plural personal ending in that paradigm. You understand what I'm saying? In the upper left hand box. So we put the witnesses in a box by using poieso men as a proof of early teaching of the Trinity, even though it doesn't have that number 3 there until chapter 18 comes along. And in the Hebrew is shaloshe or trice in Hebrew and Greek. Okay? That's just it. All right, so let's get back, okay, to the deal, okay? I'll take a picture of that. I should take a picture of that, right? I should take a picture of that, but anyway. I mean, can't resist, right? Take a picture of this. This is glorious. I mean, Peter said the same thing that one of the members of the Trinity said. So I'm just saying. I mean, Jesus wasn't speaking Greek if he said that, okay, as logos or logos, during the time before creation, but the meaning wise, okay, they said the same thing. Let us make. You understand what I mean? If it was Jesus saying it, that's just the deal. All right, now let me get to. You understand? Let me see the witnesses' account of those passages of Scripture. Let's check this out. Let's look at Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 there. So see if they say, let us, and then also in Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, verse 5. I want to see that. I mean, well, come on, man. They didn't have advertisements before. Now they have them again. I mean, come on, man. Okay, here it goes. All right, so let's see if no, this is the New Testament. So let's see in Mark's Gospel if they have, okay, in chapter 9, verse 5, let us make, okay? Now if they have it, they shouldn't witch whine and complain, Okay. Um, verse 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is right here. Let's see. No pun intended. Then Peter said, okay, to Jesus, okay, Rabbi, it is fine for it is fine. Come on, man. It is fine for us to be here. So let us erect. Okay, they didn't want to say let us make. You see, let us erect three. Okay, fine, but still, 3 tents. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. See, they didn't want to make. They didn't want to say let us make. You see, they don't want to say it. They just say for one reason or another. All right, so let's go to let's go to the Old Testament and see what they have recorded according to Genesis. You understand what I'm saying? Let's see what they say. Let's see what they have. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I mean the Old Testament. Let me see the Old Testament right over here. Okay, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. This is Genesis. So let's go to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. You understand what I'm saying? That's verse 15. First prophecy in the, well, actually 3:15 is the first prophecy of the Messiah in the Bible. Right over here, it says something like this. It says, then God said, let us make man in our images, no, our image according, okay, to our likenesses, no, likeness, you see. But wait a minute. I mean, I thought you didn't believe in the Trinity. Or was this let us make the, and then you go to the New Testament and kind of change it up a little bit, you know. It's the same construction. I already told you guys. You see? Also, let's see, okay, if they said other in, John chapter 1, verse 3. Let's check that out. Go to the New Testament. Go to John. Go to chapter 1 and verse 3. You understand what I'm saying? Let's check it out. It says over here, all other things. Does it say? See? They got caught right here. They say all other things. Can't have all other things in Colossians. You understand what I'm saying? Verse 16 of chapter 1, and then, over here, you don't have it. I mean, it's inconsistent. That's just the deal. All things came into existence, again at top, through, Greek word dia auto, him, and apart from him. Okay? Not even hen or one, okay, thing came into existence. Again, that's again, what has come into existence, geganen in the Greek over there, and that's just by means of him was life. Now, so life wasn't even made in him according to this app, so don't worry about it. So you don't have to worry about, that which was made in him was life. The Watchtower doesn't even do that. They don't even have that in their app. Okay. You know what I mean? And it says, let's just confirm, confirm that they did insert other 4 times in the text before we leave, because then somebody could say, well, Angelo, I mean, I don't think they did that. I mean, that's kind of a scandalous thing to do. I mean, I don't believe that my tower, actually did that. I mean, can you show me where it actually says other? And we already saw in your study that other doesn't even appear in the Greek. Yes, I could do it. I could do it. Just give me a chance. Let's read all of this. Okay, he is the image, okay, fine, of the invisible God, okay, fine, the firstborn, pratatakan, of all creation. The firstborn. Doesn't say the first one created. It just says the first one born. That's all. Now, born doesn't mean created, though. Just saying. It isn't. Now, because by means of him, all other things were created. So, are you saying that the Father is a creature? That's what you're saying? I mean, I'm just saying. Is that what you're saying? Is the Father's a creature? I mean, are you trying to say that? Well, I mean, all other things. I mean, all other things implying that the Father was created. It doesn't imply that. I'm just saying. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't imply that, though. You see, it does. Let's read it again. It's quite clear. Because by means of him, meaning Christ, all other. I mean, I see the Greek word other there. I already told you in my last study that Vine's complete expository dictionary of Old and New Testament words has 7 different Greek words for other on page 451, and Mounds has 5 Greek words that can be translated other in his lexicon. You understand what I'm saying? So in total, Vines and Mounds has it at together. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? I mean, and it's overlapping, but 12 Greek words collectively. Okay, 7 different, and at least 5 different ones. Okay, just saying. And they're not in the Greek. We already studied the Greek of verses 16 and 17. You understand what I'm saying? Came to the conclusion because of verse 18 of this chapter, and Genesis chapter 41, and verses 51 and 52, and Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 9. That that's the secondary meaning, and the other one is the primary meaning. You know what I'm saying? That because Jesus was resurrected first. Okay, from the dead ones, he has the preempted righteous sonship. You see what I'm saying? Is that true or not? Well, we have to leave, guys. This is a very long study. Okay. Time is my mortal enemy. So let's just read it again to close the study. Okay. What did we learn? Well, we learned, the personal ending men. I mean, that's very important. Okay. I mean, that's key. To understand that there's a plurality within the Godhead according to the Greek Septuagint. Okay, let us make, and then poiesomen. I mean, the men there is a first person plural ending, men, from the primary active personal ending, master personal ending chart. We saw that, and we saw the primary passive personal ending chart also, but that's not there in our verse, in verse 26 of chapter 1 of Genesis. You understand what I'm saying? It's not there, so we don't need that. I just wanted to show it to you, for free. You understand? So that's just it. So I'm just saying that we learned men, the personal ending men, and I think that nobody's ever going to forget it. That we saw that poiesomen is found and recorded also in the Greek New Testament according to this verse right over here. Okay. You don't see the Greek here, but we already saw it in chapter 9, verse 5 of Mark. And it's probably found and recorded in, at least 2 other places. You could check out, Matthew chapter 17 and then Luke chapter 9. I mean, just to see if poiesomen is there in those texts. You know that? So we saw that. So we saw poiesomen. Let us make. We saw... We didn't actually see it, but the Hebrew na'aseh, is from asa. It means let us make, na'aseh. You see? So we heard that. You see? We read from verses 15 through 18, and we saw, that he is the image. It's not that he's a copy, hupadegma, found and recorded in, Hebrews chapter 4, 8, and 9, and then, I believe, and then James chapter 5, and then John chapter 13, around verse 5 or whatever the case may be. 15 or 5, something like that. It's not hupadegma. It's not a copy of God's image. It's not a reflection. It's not a mirror, you know what I'm saying? It's not a signet ring. It's the actual tool, actually. If you want to use, the meaning of character. Akharitar in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 3. You understand what I'm saying? He's the actual tool. He's the engraver. You understand what I'm saying? If you want to push that into there, if you want to, go ahead. But it's showcasing essence. So I mean, engraver and tool. I mean, that's not really that doesn't really do it. He's showcasing the nature of the who we now know as the Father and who we now know as the Son, right there in verse 3 of chapter 1 of Hebrews. That he's uncreated, like the angelic beings found and recorded in verse 7. See, they were made ministering spirits, but it doesn't say that the Son was made. It just says that he was spoken to, okay, by who we now know as the Father. Tan Huyan is the object of address there, and is in the vocative, Hatheos. You understand what I'm saying? Hatheos is found as a vocative also, verse 7 of chapter 10 of the same book of Hebrews. All right, we have to finish. This study is as long enough as it is. But I'm just saying. Colossians, okay. Let me see if I have it over there in the NIV. Okay, Colossians chapter 1, okay, verse 15 says that he's the image in the firstborn. Okay, he's the image in the firstborn. And then he's the creator, okay? That's not minimizing the Father. He created also, but that's magnifying the Son, just in case people don't believe. You understand what I'm saying? For in him all things, not all other things, all things were created, things in heaven and so on. And now you could say, well, yeah, that's a Trinitarian Bible. Yeah, but yours is Jehovah's Witness Bible. You understand what I mean? Just saying. Yours is a Jehovah's Witness Bible. You say, oh, that's a Trinitarian translation. Okay, but yours is a JW translation, which has no respect among scholars when it comes to the deity of Christ and the Holy Spirit and the doctrines that you wanted to hide in your translation. He is before all things, not all other things. We saw that. We saw the Greek words ta panta, the article ta with an alpha in the plural, and panta, a noodle what? You understand what I'm saying? Spelled out P, alpha, nu, tau, alpha, pont being the stem of the word. You see? Pont. Just look at pontos and you're going to look at the stem. Okay, or ponton. You could do the same thing with ponton. Shave off the two letters there, and you have the stems. Shave off the two letters in the genitive plural, a singular, and you have the stem also. It's the same thing. You're not going to see it in the lexicon, the original construction. You know what I'm saying? Panta. What's just the deal? And then we saw verse 18. That's just it. Contained one of our answers. So the two of our answers, actually, that we should give to the witnesses. Part A and Part B of the answer. Primary and secondary answers is contained right here in this verse. See also Genesis chapter 41 and Jeremiah chapter 31. And he is the head of the body. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning. The leader says, maybe the CEV or today's English version, I forgot which one, beginning and the firstborn from the dead ones, or from among the dead ones, from among the dead is in the plural, necron, to necron, by the way, so that in everything he might have the supremacy. This Angelo Quinones is given glory to the God of Israel. God is not the God of the Ton Necron, the dead in Greek, or the Mut in Hebrew, but of the living. And that means that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the ones that were supposed to return, according to Joseph Franklin Rutherford, the one that he made Bessarine for, and they didn't return. He had two Cadillacs over there. Well, Abraham lost his license, Jacob's license was stolen, or whatever the case may be, or Isaac was laughing too much. What happened? Why did he have three cars for those three? Come on, man. It's like our president all over again. Come on, man. What? What was the deal? And then you saw the Bessarine, House of the Princess secretly, you know, that was in California. But there's a helicopter shot of it, so we still have a footage of it. That was an old house in California. I'll tell you that right now. I wonder if it's still standing. You know, that was a long time ago. I mean, I don't think it's still standing. I mean, you know, but I don't know. He made that in what, in the 1930s or whatever the case may be, or whatever. I don't know if he bought it or made it. Joseph Franklin Rutherford. You know, I don't know. Died of cancer in it though. I'll tell you that right now. Now we're gonna have to die of something, but I'm just saying. But anyway, so we saw all those things and much more. This is Angelo Quinones giving glory to the God of Israel. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye. Well, you know something, I have to intrude here because when I was speaking to a Jehovah's Witness in my house, a very elderly man, he must have been like 70 years old, 75. He said to me after I spoke to him, he said, "Should I leave the tower?" And I say to you, yes, you should leave, but not just to leave and that's it, but go to a healthy, well-balanced church that believes in these doctrines and that are good churches to go to, you know, and then just call upon the name of the Lord and you shall be saved. And that's one thing that the tower doesn't teach you to do. It doesn't teach you to pray to Jesus. But if you don't, you're lost. That's where the devil can come in and conquer. Oh, well, you know, Jesus never said that he could be prayed to. You have to pray to Jesus before you die. If you ask me anything in my name, I would do it. 14:14 of John's Gospel, you know, according to the most ancient authorities. And if you don't pray to Jesus, you're doomed. You have to tell Jesus that you're a miserable worm of a sinner. You have to tell him that before you die. You have to tell him that. You must. And not only for your sake, for your family's sake too. I just mentioned my children. How about yours? Just do it for them and not for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Take care, guys. Bye.